Man, that was some kind of nightmare. Ugh, goodness. Well, it's been a while. It's been a long while. We haven't been in this world in about a month or so. It's been a little bit, and there's a lot to work on. I would actually like to get started with a few new things. One is getting our beacon fully set up. I think getting a beacon by the end of the day will be an ultimate goal to achieve. And also kind of going back and reminiscing on some of the things that we've done in this world, because I think it's well worth kind of doing a tour. We haven't really toured much of this world, and I would really like to do so. And the best place to start is going to be right here in our storage room. This was one of the first things that we set up for our storage. Of course, down there was our first building, but this was our first major accomplishment that I was really happy about. We have, of course, our smelting area, which kind of gets everything sorted out. And we have all of our chests, which we store everything. We even made this little area over here for concrete automation. Really, really cool. And of course, this wasn't always where our bed was. We did have enchanting things. But let's talk about also where we started. Where was our humble beginnings? And I would have to say, probably one of my favorite starting points was in our hobbit hole here. We literally started out in this just forested area that was nothing but jungle, and I was like, you know what, this would be a great place to turn into a livable space. And I thought that this would look really good, and it actually did. You guys really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed making it. And we discovered that this actually leads into a cave down below, so this was perfect for our setup in this world. I mean, it was beautiful. Led right down into a cave system, so we were able to go caving right away, and we were able to get tons and tons of resources really early, and it made it a lot more fun. Eventually, we realized we were going to need some crops. Not only crops, but animals. So we invented this lovely fence design and fence setup, and it actually worked quite well. And it's a very good looking fence design, I'm not gonna lie. Even having some of the leaves and grass and things like that, it looks really good. And we even built ourselves a little barn to house our automated sheep shearing farm. And you can see we have tons of wool in here from just playing through on our own time. It was quite efficient and worked really well. I really like this barn design, and it was something that I was super proud of doing. We even have this little water trough area for all of our animals. And as you can see, we of course have a few animals. I've kind of slaughtered them over time. Of course, we wouldn't be anywhere without this building. So this houses our mob farm. This was one of our first experience grinders. And inside here houses our zombie spawner that we found. And of course, we made a little setup for the zombie spawner. And yes, it still works even now. It works perfectly. We're able to capture a bunch of things. This was our early experience farm. We had honestly no other way of gaining early experience at this point. I've also learned quite a bit over just the past year of playing vanilla Minecraft. You would think that playing modded Minecraft a lot, I would understand basic fundamentals of vanilla Minecraft. You would be wrong. You'd be very wrong. Look at this. This thing is working. Look at that. Shooting them all up here. If we stand right around here, we of course get these things to spawn. But yeah, you would be mistaken to think that I know what I'm doing when it comes to vanilla. I didn't when I first started. I totally do now, and I could probably revamp this design, but in my opinion, these types of farms, they're not really necessary anymore. It's almost easier to build one of these farms up there, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. This little area also housed our sugarcane farm, in which we kind of used a little bit. I honestly wish I would have gotten into more sugarcane, but over here housed all of our eggs, and this was basically the basis of which we wanted to gain our food. Up here was just a little area that we could get up to and just kind of, you know, go up into the tree if we wanted to. It was just another entryway up here. One thing that often goes unnoticed in our world was our bamboo treehouse. This cozy little 1-bedroom penthouse definitely has its charm. It definitely has its charm. I tried to build with bamboo since that was new to the game, and I wanted to incorporate this into some sort of build. And I mean, this worked, definitely, but I think I could do stuff way better now. So here's our bedroom, and of course it has a lovely view of this beautiful village down below, plus all of our other builds that are around as well. And of course, our hunger wouldn't be satisfied if it wasn't for our melon and pumpkin automated farm. This thing was a really fun experiment for me to do. I wanted to test out how items floated through piping systems, and it worked out really well, and this flows all the way into our chest room into a hopper system that we have set up. Really, really cool design, and I really like the way that these look, and you could probably hide them underneath pretty much anything. When it came to the Nether, we put a lot of work into this. I put a lot of work into this. I had placed slabs pretty much anywhere I possibly could. I tried my best to slab up this dimension, or at least around our spawning platforms, as much as possible, because I wanted to promote spawns on our platforms in the Nether Fortress. And this was a big challenge. It took a lot of time. As you can see, not everything was slabbed up. I slabbed it up as best I could to try and prevent these guys from spawning. And you're going to notice there is a lot of cobblestone here. But it does work fairly well. I am able to get clumps of wither skeletons to spawn here on a regular basis. As you can see, there's even cobblestone placed all over here, all over here. Everything's lit up except for these areas. And we're able to get these guys to spawn quite often. And this was a really fun challenge. It's always a fun challenge to get wither skeletons to spawn because it's just not easy. It's just not easy to do that. But with a couple of light level tricks and a couple of slabbing tricks, you can kind of force them to spawn in particular areas. So once we decided to take on the Ender Dragon, we took the plunge, and it landed us right here. And what I decided to do was to make my lovely, or my favorite Enderman Farm. This is one of my favorite designs for an Enderman Farm, as it is really, really effective. It works really well. So well, in fact, that if you have the right sword and the right equipment, this will basically lag you out with so much experience. It is that powerful. I am not joking. This thing, with the right sword, if you have sharpness 5, you have yourself some sweeping edge, this farm is probably one of the fastest Enderman farms that you can make in 1.14. And you will gain so much experience, and it is so loud. So at this point, I really wanted to show off other experience farms because I had actually learned that this experience farm up here is probably one of the best early experience farms you could potentially make. And all it is a box with water in it, some spawning platforms, and a dropper that is 22 blocks down. This, by far, is one of the best ways to get experience early on in Minecraft. And not only early on, late game, it's super helpful for killing yourself a lot of different mobs to get the resources that you might need. Like gunpowder, for example. Good place to get gunpowder. You can also convert this farm into specifically only spawning creepers. It's really, really good. So after struggling for a long time to try and actually make myself a spawner for iron golems, I have actually done it. And I've noticed that already up there I do have an issue, but I have kind of figured out how to fully build this thing properly. And we have actually gathered quite a bit of iron at this point. I am talking loads and loads of iron. It is quite insane. So let's go ahead and drag as much as we can, because what I want to do is I actually want to build a full beacon. That is something that we haven't done. And that's about the extent of everything we've done. Of course, we have villager traders. I almost forgot to mention that. We do have our handy dandy villager over here, who is trading or selling enchanted books for 14 emeralds. Mending. A mending book for 14 emeralds. I mean, you can't beat that. Eventually, I want to have a way better villager trading system. I would love to have a villager trading system where I can trade just about anything. I think that would be so much fun. So let's go ahead and create some more blocks here. And we need quite a few iron blocks in order to complete this. And this still is barely even touching our iron supply. I think we need close to 3 blocks worth. I think it's 3 blocks worth. Or 3 stacks worth of iron blocks. So let's go ahead and get that over. And there we go. And this should be enough to activate a fully tiered up beacon. I don't know, I'm kind of excited, guys. I am super excited to see what this beacon might bring. So we need to grab ourselves up our beacon, of course. And I kind of want to place this. Where do I want to place this? I want to place it nearby. I'm thinking maybe right over here. We can place this. I think this will be a great place. Right over here. Now, we do need a little bit of an area probably cleared out for this. And I would say this needs to be a 9x9 base platform. I know the bottom of it is at least 9x9. So we can kind of eyeball the center of this here. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to push out one more. We definitely need to go out a bit. And of course, if we need to terraform, just kind of change our terrain a little bit, we can always do that. Perfect. I just really want to set this thing up. Get this thing going and see what this thing has to offer. All right. So we have our 3 here. There we go. This is 3 out this way as well. 3 out this way. And then we just fill this whole thing in with these blocks. Just like so. Kind of trying to make this look a little bit more smooth of a transition anyways. Break these few blocks. I am super excited to get this thing up and running. This is going to be the only part right here that I'm going to have. It's going to look a little bit funny, but we'll eventually fix it. Eventually. Alright, let's see. Let's take this here and here. The fun part about setting this whole thing up is to build this thing. I think building it is probably the most satisfying part, because you know what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be, of course, a haste 2, which is going to make our current pickaxe the best pickaxe in the game. The best way to break materials is to have an efficiency 5 mending pickaxe. And guys, this right here is the biggest beacon you can have. And we just got the Beaconator advancement. Now, we do need to activate this thing. And we activate it with haste, is what I'm going to go with. Haste 2. And we activate it. Did you guys hear that? Literally our whole base is flooded. What is going on? There is literally water everywhere. What in the... Where could water possibly be coming from up there? Did something explode? What? We have some weird particle effects going on. I guess we should go up there and check it out. Okay, creepy sounds. What in the world is this? It's tracking us. Should we touch it? I think we should touch it.